After an epic inaugural season of the renamed IMSA Vintage series, another exciting season is upon us, and what better track to begin Season 2 of 2024 for the most chaotic series in iRacing than Bathurst? Will the drivers be able to knock off the rust quickly? And will the regulars who are making switches to the other classes be able to cope with the most technical track on the service? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch the opening round of the iRacing IMSA Vintage series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hi, I'm Adam Lundgren, and with me in the booth is Craig King. Behind the scenes is our director, Daniel Costello, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Mount Panorama is host to the opening round of the Supercar Championship every year, so it's no stranger to new experiences. To find out what makes this place worthy of the vaunted spot on the calendar, let's take you down to our track guide.
Welcome to Mount Panorama Circuit. Most drivers simply refer to this place as Bathurst, with it being located just to the southwest of the city's major hub. But most ominously, and perhaps appropriately, it's been nicknamed the Mountain. With more than 500 feet of elevation change over the course of a lap, it's easy to understand why. Though originally built for racing, it's become a street circuit over time, with the track itself used for regular traffic and featuring residential housing all along the roads. This makes this 4-mile, 23-turn course incredibly unique in the world of racing. In the past, the track has hosted a variety of types of cars, including open-wheelers. But modern safety standards means that most competitive racing has now been limited to sports cars and touring cars. However, the dangers are very real due to the incredibly high speeds and lack of runoff throughout much of the circuit. The quickest parts are the run up the mountain straight towards Griffin's Bend, and then the flat-out blast back down the Conrad Straight and into the chase. This chicane was added in the late 80s to break up the run down to Murray's Corner. But while most chicanes are derided for ruining the character of a track, the terrifying speed as you approach it and the general difficulty make it fit right in with Bathurst challenges. However, the toughest portions are undoubtedly along the mountain itself, with notorious corners like the Cutting, Brock Skyline, the Dipper, and Forest Elbow. In fact, one of the more unique worries of this course is that all of these parts are so narrow that track blockages due to wrecks are not uncommon in the first few laps. The Australian fans often line the fences and hillsides to witness the daredevil spectacle of drivers trying to claim King of the Mountain. You can't blame them with how rare of a sight a track like Bathurst is today.
Well, Craig, we got 39 cars here in the top split, ready to take on the mountain. What should they be expecting from these cars and this track today?
39 cars. Yeah, well, this is a street circuit with multi-class racing. Sounds like it would be for Long Beach or Detroit, but nope. Mount Panorama is the iconic street track that some people usually forget is a street circuit. Now, 23 corners, up and down action over this 3.86-mile track, or 6.23 kilometers. It's full of blind corners, tight walls, and high speeds. You mentioned it earlier, Adam. The GTOs will love it here. It's a track mostly used for GT and supercar racing. So those Audis, they get to feel at home here. They'll go up the hill. They'll need to fight the understeer at Griffin. They'll need to fight the understeer around McPhillamy at the top. And they need to make sure that four-wheel drive doesn't lead them into hot water when going down Skyline and the Dipper. For the GTPs, it's usually not a fun trip. Now, while going over 150 miles an hour up the mountain is a thrill, it's a double-edged sword because the track is bumpy and one mistake will lead to danger. Forest Elbow is one of the toughest corners for any prototype around here. And that's not just the GTP, any prototype. You've got the little crest, which is the braking zone. That can throw the cars out of tilted there because they can bottom out going over that when they're under braking. And of course, it's a slow corner, which means your tires start to heat up a little bit on the braking, and you try to get on that throttle as fast as you can, and you're going to spin the rear up, and you could spin out. Now, the elephant in the room is that multi-class factor. Now, last year, this was raced, and there wasn't much of a problem when it came to the GTPs getting around the GTOs. Now, there is nowhere to make a move on the mountain apart from two places after Griffin's Bend, which it's the top of McPhillamy, and it's right before the cutting, and even that one's tight. So it's a track that the drivers love, but it's all about patience. So, Adam, which driver today will have the ultimate patience?
Well, that will be very interesting to see. Already seen some drivers have some struggles going up the hill in qualifying, but we'll talk about that in a moment. After we get to the race details. Round 1 of 12 for the IMSA Vintage Series here today. It's a 40-minute race, their usual sprint setup with open setups for these drivers. They can set up the car however they like or dislike, depending on their preference. No spare car today, so that means if you hit the wall, that is it for you today. A drive-through penalty at 17 incidents and a disqualification at 25. And if you're getting up that high, I would expect your car is going to look pretty raggedy at this point. But Craig, qualifying has begun. It's going to be a very interesting qualifying today, especially considering the fact that we have some clouds moving across the circuit.
Yeah, clouds are coming across the circuit. 32 Celsius track temp, 90 Fahrenheit out there. Javier Del Olmo was the fastest at first, but it's now getting overtaken there. Van der Sant will be leading them out the way for the GTPs at the moment. And look at the gap that he has made. Half a second already, Adam, and that's kind of expected when you look at the pace that we're going to see. 145s, 46s. Don't be surprised to see a 46 in the race, I feel.
Absolutely. Looking for Andres Valenteus now. We're watching him, the #1 car, meaning that he has the highest I rating of the field out there right now, and he's going to be coming across the line. Now remember, I rating was reset a little bit between the two different forms of road racing, between Formula and GT, so some of these numbers are going to be a little skewed these days, but he crossed the line and unfortunately didn't set a good qualifying time, so clearly had an incident on track. Arturas Kundalis, however, in the #4 machine, he's currently in 5th position in the GTOs, just starting to go up the hill again.
Yeah, just watch this with Arturas. He gets there as well. Noel Lundberg leading them away, and here he goes up into the cutting. Very tight, the blind corner going up now. Got to make sure you don't overheat the tires there. Around he goes. He's sliding that car a bit as he goes up Griffins into Reed. This is tight. It is flat out though in any car, and he manages to get it flat. Now into Solman, and just look at this, a little bit of a lift. There's that lift, and now is he going to get on the brakes here to come McPhillamy? Yes, slice the car around. So eloquent it is to try and make that car go by. You are basically trying to get a washing machine around a mountain.
Absolutely. That's basically what it feels like driving this thing, but such a joy. The only time that it's really unfortunate is when you're going up through the parks at the top of the hill. But coming down the hill, we go into such a dangerous bend there, and then you get all the way out to the Falcon tires, and then now driving down towards this long straightaway. This is where you'll see most of the passes happen in the GTOs. I can report in the GTPs, Van der Sant has maintained that gap in the front. But here's the surprise, Craig. Yuko Leskola has decided to take the challenge of the GTPs, and he's in 5th right now.
Yuko Leskola in a GT? Okay, what has happened there? Javier Del Olmo, what have you done to everybody else? You've managed to get people to drive that car riding the curb on the exit there of the chase, and down into Murray's corner comes Candelas. This is going to be a very interesting time. All of the other drivers still setting their times. I've not seen Valentejas. He's 4th in the GTPs. We'll get there in a minute. Crosses the line. It's a 2:02.7. It's better for Arturas, but it's only enough for one position, just missing out on P3.
Now, if Valentejas and Leskola stay in the GTPs all season, this is going to open the GTO Championship wide for a new champion to come in. Lundberg crosses the line and retains pole position, half a second over Mickey Friesen. Still a minute to go left in qualifying. And we have a couple of drivers still coming through. This is Sergey Grabon, who is currently in 8th position in the GTOs, trying to come across the line now, trying to complete his second lap. Second laps are going to be faster for the drivers because the tires are going to warm up. But look at this. Unfortunately, he's got an incident on this lap. He's going to bail out of it.
Yeah, still got there. Van der Sant, we just look at, he's hit the wall there. That's not going to be any good for him. Unfortunately, Van der Sant is just getting some more flying laps out there. Just see a couple more GTPs. We see Aaron Humphrey on the timing tower. He's one of the last GTPs to set a lap time. But you just got to see that, Adam. The challenge for those GTPs around as Timothy Reed comes by, just one mistake, and not only does it cause damage, remember this is still the old damage model on the IMSA Vintage cards, but that's also the momentum gone, and one hit and you're losing a lot of speed that you've got to try and get back up as fast as you can.
Also worth noting that there's no rain scheduled for this race. These cars do not have the rain tires yet, so No new damage wall, no rain for these cars. Hopefully those two come at the same time. That would be amazing. Emerson Gowden has yet to set his qualifying time, and he's not going to get one because that's going to be the end of qualifying and will take us to the grid. Pole position today goes to Alexander Van der Sant with Eric Neath lined up next to him. Behind Van der Sant's going to be Jack Wells. Behind Neath is going to be Valenteus, who's jumped over to the GTPs this season. Aitor Sintes Galindo starts off row 3 with Dustin Roeder. Next to him, Hugo Leskala and Taras Vosberg are on row 4 with the top 10 rounded out by Laust Olsen and Tapani Lenaluoto. And then we have 11th position going to Timothy Reed with Fabian Newbluth next to him in 12th, Brendan Lim in 13th position, Xavier Sanchez in 14th, Aaron Humphrey rounding out row 8 with Javier Del Olmo next to him. Yunya Honma joins us once again in row 9 with Aaron Barta as well, next to him in 18th position, 19th Ian Haycox, and 20th being Martin Kraytrick. And then it goes to our only two non-qualifiers of the session. Raul Roches Guardia and Emerson Gowden did not set qualifying times, rounding out your 22-car GTP field. Craig?
Yep, we'll go into the GTOs quickly with Noah Lundberg leading them away with Mickey Friesen in P2. Johan Van Hixie will be third with Andreas Salumba in fourth, and then JD Rodriguez comes back into fifth with Kundelis in sixth. Jack David Spickett will be 7th with Doug Cloud, who just missed out on the podium in the championship in 8th last season, and Sergey Glabham 9th with David Lehman in 10th for the first page. And then we've got our second page with Roman Bello rounding it, starting with 11th. Cam Porter will be 12th. Josh Brain will take that unlucky 13th. Yuri Wickstrom will be 14th. Jamie Hamel-Smith 15th. Arno Kosh will be the last time qualifier in 16th with Forban Pullick there with no time in 17th. 17 GTOs, Adam.
17 GTOs, 22 GTPs for 39 cars going up and down the mountain in this mixed class race. Craig, this is going to be an epic one for sure.
Well, we were here last season, or last time they came around here, and you can just see those track temperatures. That wind is not much of an effect today. I will say, though, if you wonder where the westerly wind is, well, that means you're going to get wind coming behind you as you go down Skyline. And let me tell you, from someone that had to do GT3 cards here last month, where that was a 30-mile-an-hour wind or 30-kilometer-an-hour wind, that can affect you if that wind catches up. So keep your eyes on that. That could just throw a little bit of a wrench into somebody's work.
Absolutely, and we're going to see that in effect here. But a short, not even quarter of a lap here for our cars as they get going. There you can see Noah Lundberg leading out the field in the GTOs in front of Mickey Friesen. But we got to go back to the GTP leaders as Alexander Van der Sant and Eric Neath are going to take us to the line to start off Season 2 of 2024 for the IMSA Vintage Series. Van der Sant comes off the final corner and makes the jump. We are green for the season with the IMSA Vintage machines. Van der Sant off to a great start with Neek lined up next to him, but that's side by side between Jack Wells and Valenteus. Valenteus new in the GTP after driving the GTO last season. He loses that spot, and now he's side by side with Sintes Galindo, but let's go to the GTOs.
Go to the GTOs quickly, and it's been a good start for Van Hixie, and JD Rodriguez is going to be making a couple positions up, and he goes straight into third position. A little bit of a battle behind him, though. Salumba and Friesen trying to have their own way. Side by side, they will go up the mountain straight, and it looks like that Friesen may get a little bit lucky here with the slipstream.
It was all clean through the right-hander for the GTPs as the GTOs are going to approach it now with no traffic or no incidents to deal with. We saw that cause problems before. The GTOs, though, fairly clean through there as well. Looks like all of our drivers being fairly measured on this first lap.
They're keeping it cool, calm, and collected. Salumba, though, losing a lot of positions already. Already down 2. Friesen already down 2 as well. And here comes the pile up at the front, and it's Doug Cloud.
Doug Cloud has gone around, and it's a big pileup as they try and get going once again. It's a blown engine for another one of the drivers. I'm trying to see who that is. Is that Doug Cloud? Yes, it is. So Doug Cloud has a blown engine. He's going to pull over. It was also Jack David Spickett who had the spin with Doug Cloud. That's going to separate our GTO field. Up at the lead of the GTPs, though, still only a second between Alexander Van der Sant and Eric Neath as they keep going. Jack Wells, 6/10 behind in third, but look at this. Valenteus trying to make a move here. It's still side by side for 15th position between Xavier Sanchez there and Fabian Newbluth, correction, for 13th. Look at them scythe as they cut down towards the right-hander and now deep into the braking zone as they cross this portion of the track for the first time. Craig, it's going to be cold tires for these drivers for the first couple laps.
Cold tires, and also with a 40 Celsius track temp, 104 Fahrenheit, that's not going to help them. We've seen the GTPs down here. Let's see the GTOs. Ryan Hixie trying to hold and see if he can make a move onto Lumberg. It's the best place to make an overtake. Nothing yet. Friesen trying to make some more spots up. Can't get it done. This is Kundelis as well. He's in that battle. They're just looking to just set themselves going here. This is almost like Peloton racing around here, because you're going to be in packs for so long. Then you get to Conrod, when you get to the mountain straight, there's your opportunity to make the moves, and no one's been able to make it in the GTOs.
Laust Olsen's made contact with Taurus Vosberg going into the right-hander up the hill. Vosberg sent Laust off into the barrier, so unfortunately Laust with major left side damage. He's going to have to come to the pits at the end of this lap and will be off the back of the train of the GTPs. A bad first round for him, but we go back to the GTOs as it's going to be side by side between Arturas Kundelis and Andreas Sliuma. Sliuma tries to go on the outside. Nothing doing this time around. There is there's no traction there.
No traction, and because of the way that they take the corner here right before the cutting, can't make it, and the wall goes though! That's a big pile-up, and that is Friesen with
Kundelis.
but that is Friesen with Kundelis coming together, and I believe that was Friesen making the initial mistake there as they went up the hill. I think he just clipped the wall too much on the side, or did he clip the inside wall? No, he understeered out onto the outside wall before the cutting.
Absolutely. He absolutely washed out towards the outside there. So unfortunately for him, that's going to be the end of his race. It looks like, I believe that Kundelis is still going. He's very slow though, unfortunately. So Kundelis, I believe he stalled the car. So he had to get that going once again. He's at the back of the pack now. It's absolute chaos out there for the GTOs, and a little bit of chaos for our reigning champion, Fabian Jungbluth from last season, down to 13th now.
Yeah, Fabian, I don't think he's enjoying it out there. And to be fair, this is almost like, you come to Bathurst, it's almost like the Nordschleife effect, Adam, that some drivers love this track so much, same with the Nordschleife, they will hunt for this track in any series, and I think if you are comfortable here, you're comfortable here. As we see now, Jack David Spickett, he's trying to make moves up at the moment. He's got Yuri Wickstrom right beside him, but if he makes it here through the kink onto the right, it means he has to make the move, and Yuri decides it's not worth it. He got on the brakes, and that is just a little heads up there where they're saying, I'm not going to make it. Also, we see some marks in the grass. One of the GTO drivers has had a bit of an off, and now Jack's going to try and make it 2 in 3 corners. Down he goes into Murray's lovely overtake. No, he's not made it.
Yeah, a little bit of clipping of that inside curbing means he's lost the speed, but he's still got overspeed there on Arnold, who I believe is possibly doing an automatic shifting, unfortunately. So Jack David Spickett tucked into the inside of the track as he then washes back out. A great move from JDS, and he should be able to retain this. But I will say the lead of the GTOs is still very tight. Noah Lundberg and Goran Van Hixie still separated by only 2/10. And it looks like Goran Van Hixie is waiting, trying to bide his time, possibly save a little bit of fuel on this run up the hill, Craig.
Yeah, well, they have an idea, because they've been doing racing earlier this week, of how much fuel they need in those cars. And statistically, if you can actually know the number, you can go a little bit lighter and then fuel save like this. But if you're going hell-bent for level like these guys are in the GTPs, there's not a lot you can do. Javier Sanchez with his logo-inspired sticker bomb planted copy and paste machine, trying to get past Brendan Lim, and he's got Fabian Jungbluth behind him. But there is some wing damage there, Adam.
Absolutely, there is some wing damage. It's on the left rear, so it should be affecting a straight line speed, probably to the tune of 2 to 3 miles an hour. Nothing too bad yet, but you can see it there. Our usual perfectly circled 007 cam is a little bit of an oval today, and that's definitely affecting him. Aaron Humphrey going to take to the inside and make contact. They're both going to be off.
He tried to get that as late as he could and as narrow as he could, and he just clipped way too close there, and he was just a little bit too anxious, well, not anxious, a little bit too quick to make that move. So much space to make the move. I think he just wanted to try and keep on the racing line. Just a little mistake there from Aaron.
You're wondering why Andres Valenteus is the #1 car in the field. You're seeing it right now. After being a contender for wins in the GTOs last season, he's up in 3rd position and pressuring Eric Neath for 2nd right now. Neath is only 1.2 seconds off of our leader, Alexander Van de Sant, who has very quick pace on tracks like this. Impressive driving right now from Andreas.
And Andreas is a former 9K driver. He isn't 9K at the moment, but you've got to realize he drives nothing but the classics. He doesn't go and put his metal elsewhere. It's just the classics, and he puts that iRacing all on the line. Javier Del Olmo has had a moment out there. Valentejas did take that P2, as you saw, but Del Olmo, former champion from 2 seasons ago, making a mistake, and more overtakes happening as we see Jack Wells getting past one of the drivers, and they do have another lap until they hit the GTOs at least.
Absolutely, side by side between Jack Wells and Heitor Sintes Galindo. Sintes Galindo gonna get caught out here. He's gonna get blocked up. That's Dustin Herroder looks to the inside. Yuko Leskola in the mess of all this. He's down 2 positions from his starting spot as he gets his feet wet in the GTPs. And man, it is intense battling. Look at even behind these guys, intense battling as Aaron Humphrey's taking it slow off of the final corner. Aaron Humphrey and Aaron Barter are going to go into the pits, unfortunately. But look at this side by side between Dustin Herroder and Heitor Sintes Galindo. Yuko Leskola looking on. It's going to be Herroder who takes it deep on the brakes and is going to get the racing line as Yuko Leskola washes out behind him.
I think Heitor realizes, we're seeing how some of the incidents went beforehand, that yes, you could make that move, but you've got that raised curb on the inside of Quarry Bend, and I think he decided it's not worth it. They're going to hold everybody up. Objective is to get to the front 3, and they're 4 seconds behind Eric Neath, who sits in 3rd, and that is their goal, is to try and make sure they can catch up. The battling's fine, but everyone needs to work together as they go over the hill another time and down into Skyline. I thought I just saw Herroder tap the wall there. Might have just been a little trick on the eye.
Absolutely. In this pack is Tapani and Lynn Luoto. Lynn Luoto has not raced in iRacing since June of 2021. That's a long time to not be racing. It's almost as long as I haven't been racing, Craig. But that is a long time. There's been a lot of changes to iRacing, and so Tapani trying to get his feet back under it.
A lot of change and a lot of changes as well this season gone by, and a lot of it is the weather. While there is no rain here, the weather is still affected, hence all the clouds. Tapani is looking like he is on defense here with Timothy Reed, thinking it's not worth it, and Timothy doesn't even go for a late move here, just holding on. And again, he probably realizes maybe it's a little bit of fuel saving. No fuel saving for Alexander Van der Sant. That is a very damaged green car, and he starts his way not through the traffic officially, because just saw it over the hill there, Adam. I had to get my binoculars out. That's the other GTOs.
Absolutely. So that was Arturas Kundelis, who has major right front damage. He's going to be just riding around trying to collect as many points as possible today. But Van der Sant has, he probably should catch, I would guess, the pack coming down the hill is when he's going to get back up to that battle for 10th position that we've been seeing go on between Jamie Hamill-Smith, Jack David Spickett. But also before that, there's Yuri Wickstrom and Thorben Pollock and Arnold Koch that he's going to catch up to. So Alexander Van der Sant in a good position right now. Taking a look at Jack David Spickett, he's right on the back of Jamie Hamill-Smith for that 9th position.
Yeah, and they come down as well. I think Van der Sant is going to hit that traffic now, actually. Very interesting to see how quickly he makes 8 seconds up. But this is David Spickett, and he's looking to just be patient. And this is the corner that is so tricky regardless of any car, because look, you really want to get on that throttle, and even Jack almost hitting the wall there. This really is a case of you have to throw it in there and just hope you don't hit the wall. Really good launch out there, but I think maybe because he almost was going to hit the wall, he may have just got off the throttle a little bit, because he's not catching Jamie Hamill-Smith out there.
Absolutely. I can also report that Cam Porter is up in 8th position. Cam was able to make top split today, which is awesome. He's made some improvements in his iRating over the last couple of seasons and is now joining us in top split more frequently. But Cam Porter right on the back of Romain Bello right now, trying to make an improvement. Here is Cam on his Cam right now, trying to get moving forward in that on that track.
Yeah, well, we do have, because of that traffic in the GTPs, you'll see just coming over the hill very shortly, we do have the leaders. Van der Sant and Valentejas are neck and neck with this Tataras Volvo looking to make a move. Look at the 4 of them there as we also look at this. This is what I was talking about. Valentejas just put his nose in there just to say, I'm here. But that traffic going down the hill did hurt Van der Sant, because these two are now right together, and they've got the other 10 GTOs to navigate. This is going to be quite chaotic, because we saw that battle earlier, that there had been a few more GTOs battling. There they are, going up the hill into the cutting. This is going to be a little bit of wait and hope for Van der Sant and Valentages.
Absolutely. The worst time to catch these GTOs is right now. It's when you're going through the parks at the top of the hill where this is the most dangerous place to make a pass, but you have to, in the GTPs, you have to take these lines because otherwise you lose good 3, 4, even 5 seconds sometimes if you wait behind the whole track of GTOs. So he has to make these cuts, and the GTOs know to expect it, but it doesn't make it any easier for them.
Doesn't make it any easier. Valentages had to go around the axle. God, he almost hit the back of Roman Bello. Pardon my French. Almost hit the back there, and somehow Valentages holds on without losing any time. And again, every time I see Valentages go through multi-class, I tell people, watch what he does, because that was textbook. He waited for the opportunities. He knew what the car could do. He wasn't trying to go for more than one. He went for one at a time. It made it work. A mistake from Van der Sant getting past Cam Porter on the exit of Forest. He's right back there. There shouldn't be a late move here. However, never say never when it's Valentages. He's going to go. He's going to pull out. He's going to go for the outbreaking into the chase. Side by side they go, and he's got it around the outside of the exit of the chase.
That's going to seal the deal for Valentages. What a textbook move there. Just carried that overspeed into the braking zone. He's going to take it deep into the final corner here and absolutely nail this pass. That was textbook, Craig. If you're looking for how to navigate traffic and gain positions, you just had a masterclass from Andreas Valentages, our leader in the GTPs now.
Our leader in the GTPs, and here's the rest of the cars, and they've had to go through some of the cars. Still another 6, 7 GTOs for the rest of these as Timothy Reed still looking at mistakes. Sintex Galindo goes around. But that's a mistake, a very rare mistake from Sintex Galindo. It looks like, yeah, he just got too hot on the throttle.
Well, that's because the track's hot. It's 107 degrees Fahrenheit, 42 Celsius. It's gone up 2 Celsius since we started this race. That's honestly, it's shocking how hot it is out here for these drivers today. I'm going to have to check the InSim date to see what happens, but here are our leaders in the GTOs. Noah Lindbergh and Joran Van Hixie still only separated by half a second. Van Hixie has not decided to make the move yet, Craig.
No, not at the moment, but where can he make the move? It's so tough. You got to get the right run coming out of the Forest elbow.
Wow, I'm sorry. We need to see a save that Jack David Spickett just made. If we could get a replay of this, JDS just made the most epic save I have seen in the GTOs in a long time. He took it to the pits, but that was an amazing save that he just made.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see. We'll get a replay up at the moment. You were saying about the sim time. It is March 16th in sim at midday. So they're having their lunch, but also this is winter time for Australia, which means it's hot time. Well, it's the summer, not winter. It's summer for them.
Yes.
So it's very hot out there, hence the time. And now look at the traffic as they come weaving down the hill. More from Brendan Lim as he tries to make the move. I've got to see this Jack Davis Pickett.
Yeah, it was a very interesting moment, but look at this, all the chaos going on as these drivers try and cut their way through all of this traffic. We're looking at Brendan Lim as he scythes his way through. Here's Cam Porter once again. He's going to try and get by. He has to hold on the brakes just a little bit. That's going to give an opportunity. Look at this. Fabian Newbooth trying to look for a way by there on Timothy Reed. Unable to do so. Up further forward, Lynn Luoto trying to make a pass on Yuko Leskala. So lots of traffic all over the place. And there is a pass going on in the GTOs. Andreas Sliamba just made it past JD Rodriguez, starting to go up the hill for the third position. That is a move, and JD has some major left side damage.
Yeah, JD's got some damage. I'm not sure where that is, but that looks to me like he's hit a wall pretty hard at the moment. Van Hixie as well. This battle in the lead of the GTOs still going through as they go up the hill, and that's not a place to make an overtake, but they've made it. And I'm sorry, but oh wow, there's even more drivers trying to make moves. Jack Wells and Dustin Herter almost went side by side right before JD Rodriguez.
Absolutely, and so they're trying to cut their way through just in the pack, just behind Johan Van Hixie. That is that is Jack Wells who's made the pass on Dustin Herter. A really sketchy pass there. We're looking on with JD Rodriguez as he chases down the hill. Dustin Herter, who can't get his way past Andreas Sliamba at the moment. There you see the damage on that left side. You see how the right side is really clean? Look at the left. Absolutely banged in.
Two faces there on the side of Rodriguez, and that's not going to help him with the aero. He's got a lot of time behind him and Grabman as well, but The famous word that I keep trying to make famous, Adam, bookmarking. Well, that's what happened there for Hiroda. Now, this is Jack David Spickett. Watch this, and I mean watch this. He's coming up the hill. He gets up here. This is not a place you want to be slipping. A little tap, sliding through Solomon Park and saved it. And I think he had a little bit of suspension damage and pulled it. I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah, I mean, even though that was the end of his race, I've never seen someone save it with that level of effectiveness. That could have been a gigantic race-ending crash for so many drivers, and JDS saved the car and made it just a one-car incident. What a save there. Taking a look once again at Fabian Youngblood trying to catch up to Timothy Reed. Reed very fast in the GTPs over the past couple of seasons, just has not had the consistency he's needed like Youngblood has in order to take the championship. Youngblood did not win a race last season and took the championship by a full race of points. So that is quite impressive, but it goes to show you consistency is more important than raw speed. Here they come up to a big heap of traffic. Let's see whether or not this affects this battle.
Yeah, also they have to slow JD Rodriguez. Do they know there's damage on him? Possibly, possibly not. Gonna look for the moves. Timothy looks to see if he can cut around the outside. He can't. They go up into Reed. Nowhere to go. That little switchback there that the GTOs have to make, any GT car have to make. Little switchback and almost does Fabian. Look at a move there to try and go for a little excuse me there by Fabian. He is looking, and Timothy is starting to get a little bit anxious. You can see that this is a little bit of trouble. Van Hicks in Salumba right in front of them. I don't think there's anywhere to go. So let's bring Brendan Lim and Aitor Sintet Galindo in, and let's have a four-way dance.
Absolutely. It's going to be a four-way dance, and this is the battle for second that's going on with the GTOs up ahead, so they're not looking behind themselves at Timothy Reed. So that move from Timothy Reed to the outside of Van Hicks probably was a little bit of a surprise, or rather from Sliumba. But now it's a straight shot for these GTPs and GTOs. Everyone should be able to sort themselves out here before they come down to the cutting. It's going to be an epic move here as they take the right-hander, and now Timothy Reed he's going to get held up behind our leader, Noah Lundberg. He's going to be really urgent to get past, as Brendan Lim is now on the back of Youngblood, and so is Sintes Galindo. But look at that, Sliumba pushed off a little bit wide there.
No, Van Hixie was pushed off a little bit wide. He overlocked it there. He was a little bit of miscommunication between him and I believe Aitor Sintes Galindo going into the braking for the chase. Loses out. Brendan Lim now is trying to hold on for their life with Aitor Sintes Galindo right behind, and they're trying to catch up to Youngblood, but getting past Noah Lundberg did not help them. Traffic, giveth, traffic, taketh away. We're 21 minutes left in the race, and we're not even halfway, and there's already been action aplenty in this 39-car field.
Absolutely. So an interesting note of our leaders. Andres Valenteus of the GTPs 4 seconds up in front of Alexander Van der Steen. Noah Lundberg and the GTOs 2.5 seconds ahead of Andres Sliumba, who's in this battle with Joram Van Hixie right now as they're starting to go back up the mountain. We're riding on board with Joram Van Hixie.
On board with Van Hicks, and you just start to see, can he find a way? Can he find anywhere to even try and make a mistake there with the Valentino Rossi helmet there, trying to encourage the spirit of Valle as he went up and down the hill earlier this year in the 12-hour, and he's just looking, trying to find a way through. Has to lift a little bit to let the GTOs through. A lot of cars making that move into McPhillamy, which I was not expecting that easily today, but the communication has been so key by everybody else out there today. Does he get a good run? You have to wait to see if he gets a good run out of Forest.
Sorry, we've had a big wreck with Jamie Hamill-Smith. This was actually off of an incident that happened with Romain Bello, and he's collected. So Jamie Hamill-Smith ran into Romain Bello, and then it was Thorben Pollock who runs into Jamie Hamill-Smith. So a big moment here for a bunch of drivers at the bottom of the hill as we continue to see Joram Van Hixie try and make this move on Andres Sliumba, 4nd position in the GTOs.
It's not going to happen when there's slipstream there from Ian Haycock providing it to Salumba. We're going to have a quick look of this replay, and this is Jamie Hamill-Smith. He's going to be coming up there. You see a GTO trying to make a move into the cutting on Roman Bello. He gets a little bit of a tap, and there's nowhere for JB to go. That is a scary thought.
Let's wait on this. Because as Jamie Hamill tries to get going once again, here comes Thorben Pollock, and he has nowhere to go either.
Now, iRacing does have a yellow flag system. The yellow flags can be a little bit delayed sometimes because the car may want to get rolling. And I remember during a 12 to 12-hour race, we had a similar situation there. I was spotting. All I'm going to tell you, Adam, I was screaming pile up about 10 times to my colleague to make sure he's slowed down. But when you're on your own, you've got to try and pay attention to the relative. You can't pay attention to the relative while you're trying to drive, shift, flip, and also drive again.
Absolutely. The GTO is one of the most hands-on machines you can drive in iRacing, and mostly because of that lack of downforce. I think the Lotus 49 is probably the most hands-on experience you can have in iRacing as far as the road side is concerned. Here is our leader, Andres Valenteus, 3.8 seconds back to Alexander Van der Sant in second position. Andres, ever since gaining that lead with that textbook move, he's been absolutely sailing out there.
He's been sailing, but he's also not been over pushing the car. In fact, he was a tenth slower than Van der Sant last time by as Noel Lundberg. We get back to him. It's interesting to see that Valentejas is not overdoing it out there today. He knows what he needs to do, and he's keeping it calm. And this is what Lundberg's doing. He's been allowed to get this gap on everybody else because of the way the traffic's been going. And now he's got a lapped GTO and a lap GTP in front, and he's just taking it easy. He doesn't need to do anything. Look at that, 1.5 seconds. It doesn't look it from that camera angle, but trust me, he's in a very comfortable spot.
Yeah, Noel Lundberg has been extremely consistent at being, second or third to Yuko Leskala or Yuko and Andreas, depending on the race over the last couple of seasons. So this is a fantastic opportunity for him with those two drivers in the GTP, possibly for the season. Noel Lundberg possibly has the door open wide for him to take a championship for the first time since joining the IMSA Vintage Series.
I think a lot of it as well, Adam, as we see Timothy Reed just battling with Fabian Youngblood, a lot of it is this is the type of track that suits Lundberg. Where was his first win on the broadcast? Le Mans, a slipstreaming track. What is this track really? It's a slipstreaming track because you're only going to make a move down at Conrad and Mountain. I'm sound like a broken record. That's your best opportunity. Until then, you're having to race in packs. And that is something that Lundberg, all of a sudden, in this series has excelled at. So if you've got a Road America, you've got a Road Atlanta, just circle it if you're Noel Lundberg.
Absolutely. So Fabian Youngblood trying to claw onto the back. We're riding on board with Reed as we go down the mountain. I love this view. You get to see the compression of the suspension. You get to see the brake lockups. That improved particle system from iRacing getting pushed out for this update. My goodness, does the sim look and sound and drive better than ever?
It's good. It is very good, and things can only get better. Valentejas set the fastest lap of the race, but we're watching this fantastic rear view camera. Timothy Reed looks to start to pull away from Fabian Youngblood, and he's doing it. And he's doing it because, again, keeping the car straight and not overdoing it. Adam, it's 43 Celsius now. It's 109 Fahrenheit. It just keeps getting hotter and hotter, and we're not at 1 o'clock sim time, which means it's still going to get hotter here. I would not be surprised if we see 45 Celsius, which is about 115 Fahrenheit by the end of the race.
Absolutely. I would agree with you. I think that it's only going to get warmer. It would get warmer until about 2:30 virtual standard time here at Bathurst, so that's no surprise. We see Heitor Santos Galindo on the back of Brendan Lim. Not quite enough overspeed to make a move unless he wants to be really brave on the brakes. Not going to happen this time around. The two of them do not have any traffic really to worry about as far as GTOs are concerned. That's a good half lap away from them, so this is a single fight for them. But look at this. Joran Van Hixie cannot get away, cannot get himself by Andreas Sliumba, and their battling is allowing Noel Lundberg to maintain that 1.5 second lead.
Yeah, I'm just keeping my eyes on the time. And in fact, Van Hixie was faster than any of the top three. In fact, in the top 10, only 2 drivers were faster than Van Hixie the last time by for the GTOs. And that just goes to show that the slipstream is helping him, but he's also been able to take advantage of what he's given. And they have to worry because I do see Valentejas is going through, but is that some damage to another car?
That's Stefani Luoto, unfortunately, who has made contact. This was through Skyline. Yeah, he just got upset through Skyline and made some contact with the outside wall. So unfortunately, Tapani, who's just trying to get it back, he's gotten some major suspension damage. So this is going to be some major repairs. But look at this, Van Hixie right on the back of Sliumba. Is there anywhere to make a pass? Where can he get by?
Let's wait until we get down the hill. That's the answer. There is nowhere to come by. This is the equivalent, if you're British, of a countryside road. There's not even a place for you to pull over and let a car come from the other way when you come down this hill. And that is what Van Hixie is having to battle with right now. This is the closest he's been, but again, Forest Elbow, you cannot dive it in at Forest Elbow, which means you are dictating by what the lead car does, and Salumba just holds on to it, but Van Hixie is pulling. Very shortly is he pulling. Yep. I don't think he's got enough to make a move. It would be a send, and we know you can't make sense here.
I think he's got it, but he does back out just a little bit. Sliumba was a full 2 seconds behind Lindbergh, which means he wasn't getting a major effect of that draft, so I believe that Van Hixie actually just backed out of it because he didn't want to take that risk. But that gap that he had, that closing rate, he could have made that in. He could have made that into the cutting and really taken a deep dive. But he's decided to back out of it this time around, and he's got to hope that Sliumba keeps falling back of Lindbergh if he wants to make this pass. It's possible Van Hixie has decided. Oh, misshift from the Lundberg is going to allow Van Hixie to sneak by. Lundberg is going to try and slot in behind him, but that is a scary moment for both drivers.
Scary moment for both drivers, and you think Van Hixie lost P2 due to a mistake at the chase. Salumba's lost P2 because of a mistake at Hell Corner. They call it Hell Corner for a reason, and all of a sudden, Van Hixie is back where he wants to be in P2, but it's going to have to be a little bit of a battle now with Salumba. I wonder how Andreas is going to do this. He's seen Van Hixie be patient for the last 10-15 minutes. Will he take the same route with 12 minutes to go, or will he try and upset that apple cart?
It'll be interesting to see, but Van Hixie right now falling behind, actually pulling away from Sliumba as they go over the top of the hill. We're going to jump back to the battle between Fabian Jungbluth and Timothy Reed. This is for 7th position. Timothy just not dealing with the traffic as well as Fabian, but with raw pace, he is quicker.
Raw pace is quicker, but of course, you can't just rely on raw pace around here. It's multi-class racing. You have to make sure you can get through it. If you, again, it goes back to that whole thing of people like to drive for this track. If you can't drive, if you don't have the confidence to make those moves, it can affect you. And some drivers out here today making overtakes, I would not expect to see overtakes in the GTP when they're getting past multi-class traffic. And that could be a big difference out here today. Fabian, just hold on. And again, it's going to come down to who gets the best run out of Forest Elbow, and that could be a trouble. So Salumba is holding force at the moment. He decides not to go for it. And again, that was interesting to see though, Adam, because he also had that run that Van Hixie had going into the kink before the chase, could not make it, and decided, I'm just going to back out. He probably could have done it. There's something right now with this track being so hot and this race being so late now that drivers don't want to make it. Meanwhile, Dustin Herder goes for the move.
Absolutely. That was a move and a half, actually, from Dustin. He was alongside when they came down into the corner, so he had the move done. But my goodness, Dustin making a pass on Jack Wells for 4th position. Dustin Herder, he's not had the best day as far as his battles have been going, but Jack Wells has been falling back even farther, so Dustin has been able to gain positions due to some of the GTPs having some incidents.
Yeah, Dustin's +2, and with the way the race has been, you wouldn't think Dustin was +2 today, and Jack's -2. Aitor Sintet Galindo is -4, by the way, in terms of those in the track, and here it comes. A little bit of bookmarking there. Jack is going to have to just slot and wait behind, and he loses half a second, and he's away now. He loses that slipstream. He's going to have to hope for more traffic there with Hirota to see if he can catch back up, but it's such a shame. But that just goes to show traffic is really playing havoc right now, and they've got half of the GTO field past them, and now they got one more before they come down the hill. Looks like they may be safe this time by, but it just goes to show that anything can happen, and that could be a moment. Oh, Jack Wells almost went into the back of the gravel.
Absolutely. So that loses Jack Wells another half second. He'd gained about 2/10 back on Herota, but unfortunately that's the end of that. But Fabian Jungbluth is in a really good position right now as he's closed the gap back up to Timothy Reed due to some traffic. And I can tell you, Timothy still struggling with that traffic right now, and he's looking very slidey on his tires at the moment. Timothy Reed's rear tires, it looks like he's got a lot of rear brake bias right now, and that rear end's moving around a lot under braking.
Yeah, and of course you say that as he comes into one of the toughest corners, Forest Elbow, and he manages to hold it in, but can Fabian get a better run? It looks like the answer is going to be no, but there is a GTO up ahead. That is Arnold Cox right ahead, and he's just going to pull over to one side, let them by. He knows what is at stake here. Holds on by Timothy Reed, gets a little bit of an advantage, not going to matter too much. But catching, and they will have, these guys will have GTO traffic going up the hill. That's going to be a little bit of a wrench there with 8.5 minutes to go for these two cars.
Absolutely. So they're going to catch those guys right about, probably as they start to head down the hill, is my guess. And that's going to make things really interesting. That GTP you see in front, that's Taurus Vosberg. He's in 16th position after having some major incidents, and he's actually going to possibly fill up Timothy Reed a little bit here. So this could allow Jungbluth to gain a touch. Nope. Timothy's going to pop out and get the pass done on Vosberg, but if Vosberg doesn't have high cornering speeds, this could still hold up Jungbluth, and it's going to.
Oh, it is. He's heavy on the brakes as well and slowing down, and that's going to be a problem. Does he pull over to one side as well to let him bite? No, he doesn't. And there is a place there. You don't have to. He's going to do it here. You don't have to let a driver through. The blue flag rules are they are advisory. However, there is usually gentlemen's agreements when you're going up and down this hill that you kind of want to not hold up anybody or any battles in particular. I just saw Timothy Reed go around the outside of Survey grab him there, but here, Mickey Friesen as he comes on board. And once again, Alan, the way when I see somebody like this, look at what he's driving. It's not a DD wheel. It doesn't matter what you drive. When this is sim racing, you all drive for the same reason. And it's just great to see, again, just somebody just having the fun. Friesen just battling around there. And it's got to feel, look with the shifter. I couldn't do this, Adam. Not with a shifter. Not around here.
No, shifter is the only way to drive the GTO, in my opinion, and that's where you should put your money, not into direct drive. But these days, direct drive's so affordable, I kind of wish I would have gotten into sim racing right about now when I could get a direct drive wheel for the same price as that wheel he's got, because that's the one that I have. But we take a look at Ian Haycox. Unfortunately, Ian not having the greatest day today, just has not been super consistent. His lap times, just about 2 seconds afoul of some of our other drivers. But Ian making the move over to the GTP as well this season, Craig. Another GTO transplant.
I'm sure I've seen him drive the GTPs before. I know Hugh drives the GTPs more than anything, but very interesting. Also, usually we do get the pedal cam there for Ian. Nothing today. Again, back to Dustin Herder. He has got Eric Neef. He has managed to catch up on Eric a couple good laps thanks to multi-class shenanigans, and he is right there trying to battle for a podium spot with 6 minutes to go. It could be a little bit of a catastrophe, though, because of how fast he's going. Is he going to get a little bit of rush of blood to the head, or is Eric going to make the mistake? It's going to be very interesting to see the two different styles here clash.
Well, he's got to make a move like Valenteus. He's got to just keep his momentum going forward and try and get that move done on Eric as soon as he gets to him. I would say that he's not going to be in position probably this lap unless Eric makes a mistake, but I would expect next lap Dustin's going to be right on the back of Eric, and he's going to have to make that move as soon as he can.
He's going to have to wait and just see. Doesn't get the best of runs, and Aitor Sintes Galindo with some smoke out there. Has Aitor had a moment? Well, he's got a wing that's a little bit dirty.
JD Rodriguez has had a moment from third position in the GTOs. Him and Fabian Jungbluth have come together, and that's going to be the end of JD Rodriguez's day, unfortunately.
Oh, and it was just a braking for up around Solman Park. And unfortunately, it was just a miscommunication there. And yeah, JD gets flipped over. As now we get back to this, we'll just have a quick look at this. And I think this is just a little bit of miscommunication in terms of multi-class here, Adam. Some drivers want to lift, some drivers want to brake. Fabian just wanted to try and get by, and here comes the braking, and just tapped him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Fabian was just trying to set up for the inside of that corner, and JD Rodriguez goes spinning, and a big incident behind them as well. So this absolutely stacked up. I believe that's Aitor Sintes Galindo who had that contact.
And I believe that was not Mascara, sorry. Not Yuka Lescala. I've lost my words at the moment.
Yeah, but Aitor Sintes Galindo into the pits, unfortunately. Yeah. And Del Olmo was part of that incident, yes, as well. But here's Brendan Lim, and Fabian's going to have some major rear-end damage at this point that's going to be slowing him down. Brendan Lim is always good in a straight line. He's going to take to the inside, and Fabian is going to give that one up.
Yep, and not similar to the Javier Sanchez, Aaron Humphrey incident earlier in the race. Both drivers realizing, you can see Fabian just giving the space there, but Brendan almost washed out a little bit into him, but both drivers got it done. Fabian can still make some moves, though. It's just going to be the straights are going to be very tough, and with multi-class like this ahead, with Salumba right there, he could hopefully try and go for something. He can't, though. Salumba also, by the way, as we just see him losing some time to the back of Van Hixie. Looks like that battle may be done and dusted.
Yeah, our leader, Andres Valenteus, is going to take the line to go on his penultimate lap. It's going to be 2 to go for these drivers this time by Force Valenteus as we watch the battle with Fabian Jungluth trying to just cling to the back of Brendan Lim. But with that major rear end damage, you're going to watch Lim disappear into the distance here.
Onto the throttle they go, and you can see he's going to try and push. He's going to try and push. He's going to rock the car a little bit. Come on, give me everything you got. But already he is, well, with the slipstream, he's matching Brendan, which is a good thing, but also a bad thing, because if he's matching with slipstream, that means without slipstream, he is down on top speed, and you can see it as well. He really had to make sure he made that move past Noel Lundberg, and that actually may have just thrown a wrench in the GTO battle, because now all of a sudden Van Hixie is on the back of Noel Lundberg.
Absolutely, it's down to 0.6 of a second because of that little foible that happened with the GTPs. Here is Dustin Heroder, who is still trying to catch up to Eric Neath and cannot quite get there this time around. So, whoa, that's Eric Neath. Eric Neath on the inside of the corner makes a mistake and gives third up to Dustin, but Dustin trying to get out of the way. He's going to get passed by Jack Wells and Yuka Luskala, who's up to 5th position, back up to his starting spot. But man, what a hard break for Neath.
So close to the end. You could see the light at the end of the tunnel when he just decided to turn around and look at the other side of the tunnel. And unfortunately, Eric is going to be missing out there on a podium because of that moment. Now this is the battle, though, in the GTOs, because that gap is 7/10 right now between Lundberg and Van Hixie. It's going to be a very nail-biting finish for these cars. And I'm just looking where they're on the track. They won't get 1 lap less, because I can see Valentages coming around Murray's corner to start what should be the white flag, but he has been so fast at the moment.
Yes, it will be the white flag lap this time around for our leader, Andres Valenteus. He crosses the line and takes that white 3 seconds under his fastest lap time, so that means that it is the final lap this time around. We're not seeing it in iRacing, but I'm guessing I'd be really surprised if they gave him another lap after this.
Well, we'll wait and see. That could be a huge issue for a lot of the drivers out there if he's managed to do that, because they were expecting 1 pace and 1 lap number, and it looks like it could be another lap number. We'll wait and see as he goes up the hill 1 more time. You're not missing anything in the Lundberg-Van Hixie battle. In fact, if anything, Van Hixie's getting a tow from Javier Del Olmo, who's got a little bit of damage out there. But up the hill goes Valentine just for 1 more time. He's going to miss it when he comes down, though, because he knows how fun this can be. He has just shown not just how to drive the mountain, but once again, he has shown how to even drive multi-class. Every time I watch him, I'm just in awe of what he can do.
Absolutely. His first race back in the GTP this season, being the start of the season, he was in the GTO all last season and made that very textbook pass. Is going to be able to get down the hill. Still not missing anything in the battle between Van Hixie and Lundberg, but it'll be interesting to see whether they give him another lap. I'm expecting it to go to the checkered this time. Valenteus, I mean, just a class of the field drive today.
Class of the field, and it's why he is one of the best drivers out there when it comes to historical racing series. Just 1 more corner to go, 8 seconds left on the clock. I would be shocked if they give him another lap and it's been declared this is the final lap.
Absolutely. So coming through Murray's corner 1 final time, a class of the field event for him. Andres Valenteus crosses the line with the fastest lap, even slowing down for the finish. He's going to take the win. Alexander Van de Sant, a good 20 seconds behind Valenteus, is going to come around to finish in 2nd position. But we should go to the lead of the GTOs because it's not quite declared yet. Still only half a second between Lundberg and Van Hixie.
Now, Van Hixie would need Lumbo to make a mistake right now. The gap is quite big out there, so it's really going to be who makes the mistake. And Noel has been so good today. He has led from flag to flag, and on the throttle they go. And really, I think Johan may have just had to go a little bit of a lift because he almost hit the wall on the exit of the Forest Elbow there. He is gaining on Lumberg, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Half a second, it's going to be fourth. If he's going to do it, it's going to have to be a lunge. He is making the time, but this is going to be too risky, Adam.
Yeah, he's not close enough. It would be an extremely dangerous move to make. He's going to have to hope that Noel Lundberg goes wide here. He has been the last couple of laps, but this time around, Lundberg a little bit more conservative and nails it. Van Hixie has one more opportunity into Murray's if he wants to send it deep, but he is going to take a look. He's going to take a look and send it. That's going to send Lundberg wide. He's going to get on the gas. He's still in the grass. Lundberg misses the shift and Van Hixie wins.
What did I just see? What did I just see? Van Hixie held that for starters. He overshot that and held that. He went for guts or glory. And then Lundberg, I think, having to make the reactionary move, lost the shift there. I almost thought for a moment Van Hixie was going to give the position back with how it was when he went into the grass.
I mean, you could call that dirty, but Lundberg saw it coming, and Van Hixie's move just forced the mistake out of Lundberg. And Van Hixie, I think, even tried to give it back up, but Lundberg missed the shift, and Van Hixie rolled across the line under no power.
I am in shock and awe, and Cam, he gets by, he finishes as well. He gets a P6. 6 positions gained for him on the day. You can say that's a good day done. That's a good day done by everybody out there.
Absolutely. Well, what an epic race. Ezekiel Escala tries to take the jump, but unfortunately, the jump doesn't exist anymore. So that is going to take us to a quick break, but don't go anywhere. We're going to have the unofficial race results as well as driver interviews after the break, so don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this. Welcome back to the IMSA Vintage Series, round 1 of season 2 of 2024 here at Bathurst. And man, it was an exciting race today, a well-run race from all the competitors today. Adrius Valenteus, though, with a textbook pass through the back end of the lap, comes home with the win over Alexander Vandersand, who just could not catch up. 20 seconds is the gap from Valenteus to Vandersand. Dustin Heroder was able to make some recovery moves on the day and pass some wrecked GTPs to climb himself up to the last spot on the rostrum, with Jack Wells finishing in 4th position, only 3 seconds back of Heroder. Yuko Leskala maintains his starting position in 5th spot, with Eric Neath unfortunately having that spin going up the hill putting him back down to 6th after running in 2nd all day. Fabian Jungbluth finishes in 7th position today after having contact with a couple of GTOs. Is not going to be his favorite race of the day, but still good points. Brendan Lim finishes in 8th after making a mistake on the final lap, allowing a damaged Jungbluth to slide right by. Yunya Honma is going to finish in 9th position, with Timothy Reed falling down into the 10th position because of a spin earlier on. Martin Krajcik also carried damage into 11th position, with Emerson Gaudin in 12th. Ian Haycock's not the greatest day for him, unfortunately, as far as pace is concerned, in 13th position, with Aaron Barta finishing in 14th spot after the first driver to take a pit stop, believe it or not. Terrace Vosberg in 15th and Javier Del Olmo in 16th. And then the rest of our drivers had bad days. Aitor Sintes Galindo, Tapani Lina Luoto, Aaron Humphrey, Raul Roses Garcia, and Xavier Sanchez and Last Olson, who wrecked on lap 1. Craig?
Yeah, let's get to the GTOs. Joran van Hixie making that last corner overtake. He did admit that he said it was bad on his end, but the result will still say he won over Noel Lundberg, who made a mistake at the final corner. So Lundberg will be third, all three of them having a great battle in the race. And then Grabham will make 5 places up to come home in 4th, with Josh Brain making 8 places up to finish in 5th. Cam Porter will be 6th. He was +6 of the day, and Candelas was 7th. Yuri Wickstrom made up 6 places in 8th, and Foreman Pollock had a quiet day from not setting a qualifying lap, 8 places up to 9th position. Mickey Friesen fell into 10th position. And then we get some of the drivers. JD Rodriguez, he had a early retirement after getting flipped over in 11th. Arnold Koch, he finished, but it was 7 laps down, and then the retirees of Roman Bello, Jamie Hamill-Smith, both 10 laps down. Jack David Spickett, 13 laps down. David Lehman was 18 laps down. And Doug Cloud, unfortunately, an early retiree, 19 laps down.
And that's going to take us to our interviews. Our first driver talking to us today is going to be Jack Wells, who finished in the 4th position. Jack, probably not your favorite race of the day so far, but let me tell you, it was an epic race to see you battling with Dustin throughout the day.
Yeah, it was really fun. I was really nervous going into the race because I didn't expect to qualify so well. So I didn't want to fight the guys behind too hard because I know that they had a bit more long run pace. So yeah, I didn't fight too hard. Yeah, good result in the end though.
Yeah, absolutely, and it was a good race throughout. It looked like the traffic actually was fairly manageable today as far as both classes. So, talk to me about your experience of the traffic as you were tackling the mountain.
Yeah, it's definitely a really unique track for this combination. Obviously, it's always difficult for the Nissans to manage passing the Audis and the other way around. But I think it's good that we have a close community of drivers. We discuss where each other like to be passed or pass, and what the benefits of that are. There was actually a few situations in the earlier races in the week where I made a couple passes that the Audis didn't like, and then they say that, and I take that on board, and then was a bit more patient today.
And speaking of a great community, a massive participation today. 78 drivers signing up for this race, 39 in a split basis. Were you expecting this kind of a turnout and this kind of a full field today, or was this a surprise to you too?
Yeah, definitely a surprise, but it's great to see. This is my favorite series on iRacing. So yeah, it's great to see the community growing, more people getting involved. Obviously, the fact that it can split more often helps the quality of racing in the top split, obviously, as well.
Yeah, and I agree with you that it's my favorite series on iRacing as well. But Jack, congratulations on a 4th place. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, just my team, Beast Racing, always supportive and provided me with a really nice paint the last few seasons as well. So thanks to Drew, the team manager, for that. And then you guys as well at Global SimRacing, basically what got me into wanting to get into iRacing. So glad to see you're still broadcasting the series and everything. Thanks.
Absolutely, Jack. Well, thanks for joining us once again here on GSRC. That was Jack Wells, 4th position in the GTPs today, and we're going to catch up next with 6th position in the GTOs, but 6 positions gained on the day. That's going to be Cam Porter, who's joining Craig King.
Yeah, the only thing he doesn't have is car number 6, but he has car 33, so that makes 6 as well. Cam Porter, who finishes 6th overall. And Cam, it looked like a very interesting day out there, because I did see in the first couple laps, you were having to try and avoid some traffic out there. How was that first lap, especially when you came up through the cutting to see a little bit of a congestion?
Oh, yeah, I came around the corner and I got a spotter notice, and there was an incident ahead, and so everybody checked up and saw some smoke, and luckily a lot of us made it through there unscathed, because the cars kind of bounced to the left side of the track. So the right side was clear. Unfortunately, David Lehman, I think, got damage from that, because all of a sudden he started to fall back. I was kind of looking forward to a good race, because we had similar pace. Just couldn't hang with Josh after that. He had really great pace, so he must have blew his qualifying lap or something. But pretty thrilling race, at least in the first third or so. A little quiet near the end, though, unless there were some GTP passing me. But I'm very thrilled with this finish today.
Yeah, talk us through the GTPs, because, you know, to talk to a GTP driver about making the overtakes we just had, you know, they took constructive criticism on board. Talk us through being the GTO, the washing machine, while you've got a Ferrari going past you up that hill. Do you have to just hope they make the right move, because some of them were going around, some were going on the inside? What's it like when you're in that car, when you've got a car that far trying to get past you, especially up the tight parts of the hill?
Well, it is, a little bit nerve-wracking when you see cars coming up that you don't necessarily recognize their names. I trust a lot of the regulars, and like Jack said, there's a good community that discusses, things before the race and what's good and what's bad. So I feel like Nissans around me today were making good passes, but I also kind of had good luck too, where they were catching me sort of in good spots. But a couple of guys did noticeably slow down, just so they wouldn't cause any problems. Like shout out to Emerson and Ian Acox for being noticeably patient behind me going up the mountain. So thanks, guys. That was a good race for me.
We go from this very narrow track to something massive next week. It's Circuit of the Americas. Your eyes lit up there for a moment. What is your thought process there? Is it a track we're going to see you at? I know some drivers don't like it, just generally, not the IMSA Vintage guys, just generally, it's not a track that people like. What are your thoughts going into that one?
It is a challenging track for sure. There's a lot of elevation changes, difficulty with seeing the track. Well, until I got triple monitors, just a couple of weeks ago, I got triple monitors. I would have trouble just seeing the apexes, because the track is so wide and my field of view was kind of narrow. So that was the biggest trouble for me at COTA, because the track was so wide I couldn't see the apex going into things. And I think there's going to be a lot of places to pass, but there's also some really fast sections that might cause some conflicts between the two classes, obviously. So just gotta try to be mindful of where the Nissans are going to try to pass, and just try to facilitate some passes and stay safe. That's my new goal for this season. Just be safer.
Stay safe indeed. Well, he's got 3 monitors. He's got car 33. He made 6 positions up. He is 6th. There's all the 3s out there today, multiples of 3s. That is Cam Porter. It's great to hear from you again, Cam. We look forward to seeing you next week. Cam Porter in 6th there, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. Cam Porter finishing in 6th position. And next up, we're going to talk to Aitor Santos Galindo, who unfortunately finished down in 17th today after having an incident and being in the pits. Aitor, not the opening race of the season that you were hoping for today.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's frustrating, because I was having so many moments in which I could die. I had a couple of moments trying to pass Audis in the skyline, and it was like, Jesus, take the wheel moments, and it was like, well, Aitor, let's finish the race. And I see the Nissans checking up, and it's like, okay, let's slow down a little bit. But then I saw them very slowly, and it's like, no, bonk. It is what it is. Unfortunately, these things have happened. So, yeah, as Fabian apologizing, nothing I can do. I mean, it's still this can happen. So yeah, thought unlucky, but yeah, moving on and have a better week next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Next week going to COTA, Circuit of the Americas. But Aitor, going into this season, obviously different drivers have different goals for the season. We just heard Cam Porter talking about just being safe this season. What is your goal for the season?
Good question. Well, firstly, probably the most important thing is to have fun, because I mean, results I don't expect as much, because with so much participation lately, I mean, we had 80 entries today. This massive top split today. One can expect a lot of competitiveness, and yeah, I mean, fighting for P5, top fives. I think it's especially if Audrius appears, because of, the first spot on the podium is always reserved for him when he shows up. So, but yeah. I think the important thing is to try to get as many points as possible. I mean, find a good pace, and obviously try to find a car, because I think lately I had so many mistakes. Like last season, if you could see my car, there were like a lot of pieces of cars. Those were cars I wrecked on mistakes by me. I don't want to repeat those mistakes. So I think the most important thing is, well, first of all, have fun, and second, get many points, and third, no mistakes.
Well, Aitor, sound like good goals to have, absolutely. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week at COTA.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the broadcast as usual, and see you next week at COTA.
That was Aitor Santos Galindo finishing 17th on the day after getting in an incident up on the top of the hill. But that's going to take us to our finish of this broadcast. Thanks to the team today, Craig, Daniel, and Dougie. Make sure to check out our social media, website, and merchandise store, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, so you don't miss a moment here on GSRC. Next race is going to be Circuit of the Americas. That's next Saturday. That's March 23rd at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, our new time, with the time change that we had in the States. Be sure to check out our other broadcasts that are also listed here on your screen, and we hope you've enjoyed joining us today as much as we've enjoyed bringing this racing to you, and we hope to see you back again next season, or rather next race. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.